2022. We all rise to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Alicia. Here. Alan.
Here.
Mary. Here. Steve.
Here.
Bob.
Here.
Also present is Dave Hine, Frank Jackum, Adam Cdbg, and myself, Debbie Esther.
Next up, we have citizen input. I see there's a few residents in the audience that may wish to speak on the issue of ballpark scheduling. Just to set expectations now, did receive a litigation threat in writing. So I will just remind the council members on advice of the attorney that we will not be speaking publicly about this tonight because of that potential litigation, but we are going to open the floor for any comments. Again, this is public comments time, since we won't be able to discuss it, there won't be much of a discussion, but we welcome your input. If there are, it looks like there's a fair amount of you out there. One thing that we want to have, I'll mention this from Alan. We had some discussions with a park board meeting. We want to make sure that the names or any identifiers of minors are not mentioned in this public meeting. We ask that you respect those children and those parents. So if anyone would like to come forward and speak on that or any other topic, you're free to do so. When you approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Is there any citizen input? Any citizen input? Okay. Moving on to the public hearing. I'd like to.
This gentleman here wanted to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we have a?
There was one in the back.
Is this just on the ballpark?
Any topic.
All right, we've got something.
Oh, step up to the podium.
We came as a group.
Okay, step up to the podium, name and address.
Hi, Council. How are you?
We're doing great.
Ed Hebda, 90 Ridgewood Lane, Chateau Woods.
Jeffy and Mike Tenza, 160 Schmidt Drive.
Haley Astor, Forest Park Drive, 2766.
Nathan Hawk, 140 Schmidt Drive.
I'm Mike Tenza.
Congratulations.
We wanted to talk about a home in our subdivision that I think everyone knows about it. We tried to forward an email to you. So we don't blindside you.
We know it well.
Okay.
Yes.
6 years it's been going on. We've been trying. I know you've been trying. I'd like to come together to see if there's ideas that we could work together on.
I talked to the Board of Health. It's been condemned.
We have liens on the house. We don't know.
We don't know what else to do. I mean, other than it's been condemned. What else can we do about this house? We've had 2 break-ins in Chateau Woods. I'm afraid. So people are in our neighborhood looking. We're gonna have. I'm afraid of squatters. I'm afraid of kids getting hurt. I'm afraid of bugs and mice and rats. I mean, this house is a mess.
Would you like me to address that now or wait until?
That would be fantastic.
Okay, the way I see this, there's a cheap and an expensive way, but the expensive way is likely going to be the effective one. The cheap way would be to do exactly what the HOA is doing, but from the town. Keep fining, take them to court, seek an injunction. But at the end of the day, you get a court order that's a piece of paper. And if the owner's out of state, they're not going to be motivated. I think the way to do this effectively would be to take the property as a blighted property. It's just like the town taking any other piece of property, except you have to pay, I believe it's 1 1/4 times market value, but the appraised value. And then the town would essentially sell the property to someone who would fix it up and invest in it properly. This was the infamous Kilo decision from, 17 years ago now. that allows towns to take private property for non-public uses. So there's, in response, Indiana enacted a bunch of restrictions. We can still do that in this case, but it's going to cost more than if the town just took it for public use, like, or if the town wants to bulldoze it and make a park, it can do that too. You guys want to park next to you?
Yeah.
That's fine.
We like parks.
Probably
Parks are
better
good.
than what's there now, but
Yes.
those are the two options I see. And if the town wants to go with the second one, I would encourage you to look at its
I'd
budget.
like to make a motion that we move forward with getting the appraisals, get this process started. It's been going on way too damn long. I'm
Yes.
sorry. It's
Thank
just-
you.
Thank you.
If
We
it was
all
next to
agree.
me,
so.
I would have talked to some friends from outside of town to take care of it, but let's get a process started. So I'll make a motion that we provide our town manager and attorney to get the appraisals, provide that ASAP to the council so we can make a decision on how we're going to move forward on both ways that you mentioned, for either public use or just taking it to under a blighted condition.
I think actually if the,
Got a second. then-
okay,
Yeah,
fine.
we got a second.
Okay.
Discussion?
Yes, I mean, I think if the town takes the property and sells it to a rehabber, we could probably make some money. I mean, I'm certain the shell of that house is good. It's going to be have to be gutted, but I think it could be a nice home
And you're
again.
probably dealing with a low appraisal value too.
Ex-
It was actually
absolutely.
myself.
Right.
Yeah,
A couple
I
of months
can't imagine
ago.
being condemned by the health department, you said?
right.
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
walk by there all the time and I saw the health department on
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And, I talk to the neighbors there all the time. And it's just been a headache and our attorney has been working to try to resolve the
Right.
situation. But that's the only thing that's going to solve it. We're going to have to spend some money and purchase it.
Right.
And then,
Yeah, Chris Collins from the health department has been nothing but kind to me from my
Yes.
county. I mean,
yes,
just-
they've been very nice.
I'm very impressed with them.
Right.
And I know you've been cutting the grass. Thanks a lot.
thanks for
Yes,
cutting the
we
grass.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah, because it's enough. And like I said, I'm afraid.
I would
Yes.
be too.
I am
Yes.
too.
And I don't even live across, we don't even live across the street from them. It's
Yeah.
just, we're so concerned.
I live at the end of the street and yeah, I won't walk my dogs on that side of the road. I look the other way when I drive past it 2 or 3 times a day.
We're on the board. We get calls like once a week.
From all
So
over.
it's the
Yeah.
same thing like you get.
I worry about kids breaking in there too,
Yeah.
because
Well,
we've had a couple of empty houses near us and,
Right.
yeah, that's one thing that I fear because I know middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and
We
all of a
do.
sudden we've had those and that's really what's
Right.
concerning us is that
Thank
it's gonna
you.
get worse.
I think it's time for action. So
Yes.
if I could please, I respectfully would like to ask the call for the vote.
We have a motion and a second. We have discussion. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Alicia. Alan.
Aye.
Mary.
Hi.
Steve.
Aye.
Bob.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks a
very
lot.
much. Appreciate your time.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
if I could add something for this, I would like to reiterate, police department, code enforcement, town hall, everybody has done everything within their means on this. No one has neglected this property. It's just that we've
Right.
been handcuffed by what we can do. We'll work with.
And this was a proper next step.
Yep.
Get it done.
I'm calling open the public hearing for the town's acceptance of the Cdbg program. I'll be accepting any public input.
Mr. Town Manager, if you want to set the record as to posting of notice.
Yes. They were all publicly noticed in accordance, and you have those copies in the file as well.
Second call for public input. Third call for public input. The public hearing is closed. Where I will ask now is I will ask for a motion for resolution 2022-10, authorizing the town to submit a proposal for block grant funds for 2022.
I'll make that motion for resolution. Pardon? Oh, I thought I heard. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-10, authorizing the town to submit a proposal for block grant funds for 2022.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Town Manager, if you want to give a brief explanation of what we intend to use these funds for.
Yes, we get these rounds of funds to us every so often. Last round was used for Mike upgrades at a couple parks or one park?
One for Northgate Park and one for Pavement Park. One was for some minor programs.
This year, the staff assessment, we duly noted that the public facilities here at the town hall need some upgrading for ADA compliance and overall upgrading, which qualifies under this grant. So this round of funding for Cdbg, which is a community development block grant, would be used towards renovating and upgrading all restrooms in the town hall facility. We've taken some input from the Disability Advisory Board and also our own inspectors, and that's the modifications that we're planning on using these funds for.
Any further discussion?
I would just add that in the packet to our required documents that have to be executed. If the motion is approved, these just need to be signed by Mr. Stark.
Madam Clerk, the roll.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Hi.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving down to the consent agenda.
I would ask that we move items 4 and all sub-items below that down to the next page, ordinance and resolution for discussion.
You said 4, A through F, I'm sorry?
Yeah, the Summerfest contract.
Okay.
If we'll bump that down to after.
New business?
New business? After
Yeah.
the ordinances
Yeah,
that are
Ordinance
done?
ordinance and resolutions, that's where
Yeah.
that resolution is. on
Yeah,
there.
and then you could do it underneath new business after you approve that other stuff.
I'll make a motion to
Well, or
approve
if
the
you don't.
consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the March 10th, 2022 Town Council meeting. Number 2, minutes of the March 9th, 2022 Town Council executive session, claims totaling $1,215,203.15.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. Announcements, April 15th, this Friday, the town offices will be closed in observance of Good Friday. Second announcement, we have Brian Kissinger, Officer Brian Kissinger here to discuss and give a presentation on the emergency bucket SRO program.
Okay, thank you, Town Council, for having me speak tonight. I won't take much of your time, but I'm excited to talk to you guys about the Lake Central School Corporation. As I've been an SRO there for the last 5 years, and part of my job is to talk about emergency preparedness. And we have a corporation that has 9,000 students and 1,300 staff. And so when we talk about emergency preparedness, we have to think about natural disasters. We have to think about man-made disasters. And in September of this past fall, we had an issue where we locked down the high school, and we put the whole high school on lockdown, which means they go into the rooms and they hide. And within that lockdown, our children were and staff were in need of services for basic human needs. So we saw the gap, and we decided as an SRO team, as central office, that emergency buckets would be distributed into all classrooms, when inside would be, materials that can help get them through this crisis. So when they were in a lockdown, they were in there for 5 hours. So there was no food, there was no water, there was no anything that to help basic needs that they would get to this crisis. And so the buckets would help offset that. And they're modular. We can put anything that we need. So if there's a class that needs, something specific for a student, then we can add that in there at the beginning of the year. But the bucket does come with some basic items, as far as like a fleece blanket, roll of duct tape, paper towels, face masks, gallon, plastic baggies, box of pencils and notebooks. We got to get their minds kind of maybe off of what's happening and writing some notes to kind of help them calm down. Sharpies and first aid kits. And that's just the basic stuff in there. And the cost is $45 per bucket. And then we need 800 buckets because that's 800 lockdown rooms, and which comes to a price of $36,000. And so, we're seeking and we're going out to the community and asking for help in purchasing some of these buckets. And there's several ways you can help. And you can go to the website, lakecentralschoolcorporation.us. It'll take you right to their store and you can donate. Or we do take checks, Lake Central School Corporation and memo or emergency buckets. So, it is a great asset to our school. We have 3 towns. We're in a unique area. We have 3 towns that feed into one school corporation. And that means there's a lot of kids and a lot of parents throughout 3 towns. And so that's the one thing that we want to do is kind of give them an advantage in a crisis. We live in an area where we have major storms, and just today we had 7 schools being knocked out of electricity because of the windstorm. And so those are some of the needs that we're trying to fulfill and solve the gap. So that's the emergency bucket. I will take questions. I just wanted to kind of, give you a quick overview of what we're doing in the schools.
Brian, I'm glad to see this because, the Lake Central has adopted the safety committees for the last 25 years. They've done an excellent job. But, one of my concerns was that if you have a diabetic in your class and there's a lockdown or something, that just, really worries a lot of people. Fortunately, they would always give the teachers something, in that event, but this is a great idea.
Thank you. Yeah, diabetics, is an issue, and we have a lot more than I ever thought we would have. And absolutely. So
Right.
they do need the emergency supplies and
Or asthmatics, that's another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real big problem.
So everything's unique. Each classroom is
Right.
unique, and which student comes in, and even teachers have, their own issues too,
Yes.
So, my friend, what would you suggest is the best way for the Dyer Town Council to help support our part of this? Would you want, I don't know if it can take cash, but I think we could do a motion for a monetary fund if we could. Put it on our website or
So there's several ways.
media.
Yeah, there's several ways, right? Obviously, monetary donations is welcome, right? Also, we have letters and that direct you to, on our website, directs you to the store, and you can donate through the store. I have little cards that have QR codes on them, so you can just hit your phone and it goes right there. So monetary donations. Also, it's 4 phases. There's phase 1, right? Monetary donations, getting the money to do this. I mean, it's $36,000. I mean, that's a huge budget. Phase 2 is ordering it. Logistically, we have to order all of these things, 800 of everything. And then phase 3 is putting them together. We need to have people helping put them together. And then distribution. So distribution, we have, 10 schools. And we're also including transportation, TAP, central office technology, all of that goes in there. So, help is huge when it's time. But right now it's phase 1 and it's monetary donations, and we have to get the money to spend the money.
So I'm thinking we got Cherville, St. John's, and Dyer. Has the other 2 communities made their donation or any part of it?
Yes, I was at Cherville last night and spoke in front, and they gave us $2,500. I have not spoke at the St. John Town Council yet.
Okay,
So.
I was just trying to get a feel on
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
my motion, the amount should be. We should at least match Cherville, but probably a little bit more. Dyer tends to be the leader, at least we believe we are, and we always have been.
Well, you could do that because each one of us get a paycheck because we were all voted in here. We could all write a check out of our own personal checks for $100 to the SRO,
I think the.
which would add another
Not to the
$600.
SRO.
There's a.
Lake Central School Corporation.
Yeah, there's a
Brian's like, that's Kissinger,
It's good for the website. I think the QR code, a great idea. I'm just trying to look and see if there's a feel. Anybody want to
Do you have an estimate on how close you are to that?
So right now, through all of the, oh my gosh, I can't think of it's the track, the QR is whatever the platform is, but we're sitting at right now, actual money is $4,800. You know, and the way I count it is if it's in our bank account, that's being counted. You know, hey, we promise you that's not counted in there. So, you know, we've reached out to our PTOs also, and every single one of them from our heard back that, you know, they are willing to donate also, but it's just a matter of, you know, people writing a check. So
if no one else is going to speak, I'll just make a motion for $3,000 on behalf of the Dyer Town Council. And you can remind Cheryl that we outdid.
I will do that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Brian, who does the check though get paid out to?
I'll second
Lake
that.
Central School Corporation.
Motion and a second. We'll entertain discussion. I think one thing that.
Yes, Louise has something to say.
Oh,
Just real quick, thank you very much. These guys are awesome. And to go along with that, the Lake Central Education Foundation has donated $10,000, and whatever you donate this evening or any of our constituents, it's matched. So dollar for dollar. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
And again, while there's discussion, Brian, can you say who the check needs to be made out to?
Yes, the Lake Central School Corporation, and then the memo, emergency buckets.
Okay. And then can you just send a email to that too also, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah. So 2 or 3 questions. One, I guess this would be a conversation of, I love the motion. Second, do we have a fund that we could take $3,000 from?
It's the
Okay.
same fund that we get out of for
Okay.
other things.
Okay. So that wouldn't impact anything. I would like to say in addition to your motion, it doesn't change the motion, but you know, if this is something that Mr. Town Manager, if you could possibly get with Brian and find out, you know, how we may best advertise this on our social media and website pages, just as a way to help out with that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I
sir.
would go softball, would like to donate $2,500 to it also, if that's a possibility. We make that check out to that? Lake Central Bucket Fund?
Yeah.
Yeah, take care of that. Oh my gosh, it's a good thing.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Yes.
Bob,
Aye.
and I will donate personally, Brian. I'll donate personally. Yeah, no.
When you get a chance, huh?
Yeah.
That's fine.
And thank you for everything you and also Patrick do in the schools. It's very much appreciated. Next up, we have under announcements, Lake County Community Services. Is Blossom in the audience?
Yes.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Blossom Mabon. I am the Executive Director for Lake County Community Services, who provides transportation services for individuals with disabilities as well as seniors, elderly, and even a few younger people, but 95% of our population are seniors and individuals with disabilities. We provide normally pre-pandemic, we were doing about 50,000 trips a year. During 2020, it decreased to about 22,000. But since then, we have added another 15,000 back to that post-pandemic times and getting back closer to our average of about our anywhere from 40,000 to 45,000 trips a year. A large chunk of that is provided to seniors right here and those with disabilities here in the town of Dyer. And we're looking to have some support from the town of Dyer this year. We did not request assistance during 2020 because we were able to receive CARES Act funds that helped us get through that year without having to close our doors. We continued to provide essential services for individuals who had to get to diabetes appointments, dialysis, cancer treatments, food pantries, any place but the little guy who was calling us every day to want to go to the mall that wasn't even open. So we continue to work through that program and to provide those services. So we're looking for assistance from the town to be able to continue services here in Dyer.
How many trips do we provide just to Dyer?
You know what? I ran all these reports and the power went out and the sheets did not print. Comcast went out 4 times today. And right before I left, I was trying to divide that up. I did send Mr. Dave a list of that, and I was hoping he had those numbers in front of him, but the power kind of just went out and I couldn't print anymore. I couldn't get the power back up. IT people were working to get me that information. That's what smartphones and electronics will do for you.
And also providing lunches out at the township center.
Oh, yes, out of the township center, we provide lunches to approximately 20 people every day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday through our Meals on Wheels program. They do congregate meals, they do senior activities. We run that program. It's constantly growing now since we're back post-pandemic. We were going Monday through Friday with seniors being added all the time. It's a little slower now, but we're getting back up. We started back with maybe 8 people. Now we're up to about 20 people a day, which is continuing to grow. Seniors want to get out and communicate with others and, socialize.
Yeah, I want to say thank you. I know some of my neighbors utilize that service, the seniors and some that were a little disabled. I see it around our community always. But I just wanted to relay because one of them came to me and said, make sure whoever's in charge, I tell them, thank you. You're doing a great job. It is their only means of transportation.
Absolutely.
And some of them may not have been able to get out of their households for weeks. And during last year, it was months at a time.
Absolutely.
So it was a blessing, at least in their words to them, just to get out and even say hi to the bus driver and knowing that it was just a phone call away to help them get their prescriptions, their food, for that luncheon, and just to go somewhere to have someone to talk and communicate to.
Absolutely. People are wanting to stay in their homes much longer, rather than go into assisted facilities or nursing homes. This will allow them to remain in their homes as long as they possibly can.
So thank you.
In the past, we've given $5,000, I believe.
Yes.
And I would like to make a motion that we continue doing that, that we support you for another $5,000.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll.
Alicia? Aye. Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Moving down to reports, town council reports. We'll start off with Ward 2.
I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Easter.
4.
A happy Easter as well. I also hope that everyone sees the banners that are up and down the streets on Hart Street and on Calumet Avenue. Just to let you know, that was a project that Dyer and Bloom originated that project. We've been working with CGI. Those banners are free. And on top of that, they will maintain them. They will change them every 9 months. And it's a great corporation to work with. I've really enjoyed it an awful lot. All of us have, but we worked really hard to save Dyer money. So we didn't have to pay for anybody to install them or to maintain them. And again, it is up, they will be up for 3 years and they will be changed and they will maintain them. So if something goes wrong with one of them, they will come in and change them. So just want to thank Dyer and Bloom for working on that.
Thank you for that. Ward 5.
Thank you. Again, I can't say enough for the police and the fire, our Department of Public Works, everyone's out there and I see them out there more and more, especially as the weather breaks. You probably notice a lot of branches and leaves and everything out there, but they're right on top of it. So not only for myself, but the neighbors and residents throughout the town are thanking everyone. It's good to see the police out and about always, the fire department doing a very good proactive job. Chief, thank you. You're behind the flag. And then happy holidays. I'd like to say no matter what you and your family, what religion you may celebrate, just happy holidays. Remember those who are less fortunate than us. Remember those in other countries who may have their whole country blown apart now. So be thankful for what we have and see what we can do to help others and move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Treasurer?
Yes, I have some donations that came in for the fire chief's discretion, $150. And for the police chief's discretion, $150. And also for K-9, $25. So if I can have an emotion to accept these donations of $325.
Motion to accept.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Thank you and happy Easter, everybody.
Town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Start out with the wind gusts of today. You may have noticed a lot of garbage flying around. It is typical for this time of year as everything thaws, you see the garbage laying around. Happy to report that our correspondence to Lake Central High School for community service hours was received well and circulated to every student. We had our first student respond back to me saying they're interested in community service. So we are going to work with code enforcement to set up volunteer days. Attorney Cedia has given us the necessary paperwork to make this all compliant, and you'll start seeing a supervised program where high school will work their hours off by cleaning our parkways and town-owned property areas. So we're very excited about that. Also, I know this is probably not too practical, but we did receive an anonymous letter today complaining about the railroad tracks on Route 30, potholes that everybody in this room has probably driven over the past couple months. I would like to report, in case the anonymous person is listening or watching, we've reported it several times. The chief can even respond that has had him on the phone several times. There's a certain amount of feet away from the railroad tracks that we cannot, nor can NDOT do any kind of maintenance work. It has to be the railroad, and that's where it falls. So unfortunately, we fall on the timeline of the railroad. But there's been, I'm underestimating at least a half dozen phone calls to get this corrected. So just wanted to put that out there in case you're listening. If you want to leave your name and number on the letters that you drop off, I will make sure I call everybody back and give them the right answers. And also, as a matter of housekeeping, you have the TIF report in front of you. It is filed every year through Gateway to the DLGF. It's got a lot of information, so take time to absorb it. As just a matter of record, you have to accept it in and record it in your minutes for the meeting. And we can answer any questions that you may have on that as the days come.
You don't need a motion. You can accept it as a matter of record.
We accept it here?
Here, and I'll do it also at RDC.
Okay, alrighty. I'll make that motion to accept.
You don't need a motion. Just Bob just needs to accept
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll accept this as a matter of record.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Town attorney's report.
Yes, we finally closed down the Trillium property, so that is done. We are in negotiations about the Pavement Avenue tentative Northgate pump station property, which remain ongoing. The next step in these property acquisitions is to file what's called an action to quiet title, where we get a judicial decree confirming our ownership. It's standard practice, and it's kind of a CYA step, but it's a necessary step. After discussion with the town manager, we're going to kind of wait until our property acquisition spree, I'll call it, is done, and we can get everything done at once. As mentioned earlier, we did receive a written, I don't like using the word threat, but that's what it is, potential litigation involving softball scheduling. Those discussions remain ongoing as well. I am reaching out on the Rosati's issue. I will provide updates as they come. Other than that, that's all I have.
Where are we at with the property on 213th and Sheffield?
Oh, yes. No one there. believe I mentioned at one of our previous meetings, Speedway did file, an attorney appeared and asked for an extension of time to file their objections, but that time has passed and nothing was filed. So and then I was looking at what to do about the HOA, which still technically exists, even though it's administratively dissolved. I think we're in the clear to move for default on all defendants. So that will be coming next week. Excellent.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Boards and commissions. Hi, how's it going?
Good. Hi, I'm here to update you on the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission, or SEAC. I'm Julie McElmurray. As a reminder, I'm the citizen you appointed to be on this commission. I have 3 things to tell you about today. First, we have invited primary election candidates for all local offices to sign the Candidate Ethics Pledge. As a reminder, that pledge asks candidates to commit to ethics training for all municipal employees, to support comprehensive ethics policy, and to support whistleblower protection. A list of the candidates who have signed the pledge will be sent to the media prior to the election. At this time, all but one of Dyer candidates have signed the pledge, and it is available on our website, sharedethics.com. Second, the training committee is very busy. So these ethics guides and the code, the 2-page code, has been distributed to every employee here. And then these posters have been shared in public spaces. So thanks to Dave and his staff for taking care of that. So this is work that was done during COVID when we really couldn't get together and do anything else. This guide, I think, is really good. If you guys want a copy of it, you can talk to Dave. It's kind of a basics on some of the key ethics issues that municipalities deal with. The training committee is also finalizing, updating their training videos and curriculum. And as we prepare for that rollout, I'm working with Dave on updating our list of ethics trainers. And once we have that list and the rollout is planned, we'll get that going. I don't know if any of you attended the training in the past, but the video was like from the 80s. So the good news, it's not anymore. It's much better. And Kelly has been helping us with reviewing that video. So thanks to him. Finally, we've decided to hold our 2022 summit in the fall. So when we get more information on that, I will share that and hope to see all of you there. Are there any questions?
I like the training because they give you different scenarios where people can have a discussion, because you may see things a little through a different lens if you're talking to a group of people. It's always enjoyable. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, the videos they're taking each type of an ethics issue,
right,
and they're showing a situation, and then we have that discussion, and then we also discuss other case studies that are usually situations that have happened somewhere.
Correct.
Yeah. So.
Julie, is there extra books, those little books?
I think so. Dave's got those, and if we need more, I can get more.
I think there would be something that we can consider, the council can consider handing out to our new employees that we hire.
Yes.
And making it part of our new personnel policy.
Yes.
Which part of the ethics in there, because nothing in the handbook is with ethics on there yet.
Yeah, I think in our minds, in CX minds, each new employee would get a guide and they would get the code.
Yeah.
And
so
I think that would be
if we could
great.
get some of those, and then as we run down low, we could request.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Dave's got some, and if he runs low, he'll let me know, and we're continuing to print
Well,
them.
the hiring process comes through the clerk's office when the department heads come, so
Okay.
I don't have any of those.
Okay.
So I don't.
If
know
you just
Dave has
let me know or let Dave know, I can get you a pile of them.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions?
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Frank, utility board?
Yes, on our water side, our major water projects have been proceeding well. Most are substantially complete right now, and hopefully wrapping up in the next 30 to 45 days. Some additional equipment that needs to yet be installed at the booster station. On the south side there for our 77th emergency connection with Cherville is pretty much ready to go, except waiting for power from NIPSCO. Our supply connection from Munster, the meter vault's been delivered. We are also waiting for power connections from NIPSCO for that. and of course, restoration work on those different projects. So that's been proceeding well. On our sanitary side, continue design work, finalizing design work on the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, as well as investigations and reductions into infiltration inflow in our collection systems. And as something of note, last week we had a break, a sanitary line break underneath the creek, Hart Ditch, just west of Hart Street. Thanks to the expeditious efforts of our Department of Public Works and our local contractor, Dyer Construction, able to get that corrected within 24 hours. So that went well. That could have been a much more significant project. So fortunately, that went well. So I have at this time.
Parks Department, Ms. Bargo, do you have anything to add from?
Not at this time.
Thank you very much. Department heads, Public Works.
All right, we began branch chipping and leaf removal services last week. We'll continue chipping weekly throughout the rest of this year through November. The leaf removal will continue through the rest of this month. So again, may not be out there every single day, but again, when there's piles, we'll send the leaf back out to pick that up. The sidewalk repair project for the spring, all the locations have been submitted to the contractor. That work should begin later this month or early May. Building services crews, along with the street department, have been assisting with the town hall renovation. So again, we've been sending guys over here helping moving furniture and doing all that kind of stuff. We have our replacement full-time employee starting next Monday. So that'll bring us back up to 27 employees at this time. And then there's a few items in the new business I can discuss at that time when we hop up.
Park Department.
We did discuss about Elmer Miller's splash pad. So we have majority of the stuff's done. It's going to look like a pretty good facility with the bathhouse too. So we are anticipating going to bid on, right now the plan is May 13th. And then with meeting on, I think the 17th, we should be moving with that. So that'll look good. That everything's, I think everyone was happy with that. Last Saturday, we did have the Easter egg hunt at Northgate Park. I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who had worked it. A lot of work goes in behind the scenes with that, and for only like 5 minutes of hunting and stuff like that. So, and that was last Saturday. We did also with the Cherry Hill project. We are planning on going for the Land and Water Grant. So we're going to apply to that here in May as well. Just waiting for one final update with the designing plans with the ADA parking spot with Robinson. So we'll submit that. Central Park is parking lot lights are all finally in now. We did add electric over to the two ponds now. Also for the backstop over the cameras and all the repairs, some of the conduit repairs that had to be done are all finalized. So over at the south end, if you could take a look over there here recently, it's been graded out. So it's be graded out for the stone work and then to the concrete work. So we're going to start at the south end and then work back the little playground area too. That we have too. The curb was put in. Most of the concrete curbs now, or all the concrete curbs, I believe now are in for that. And then finally, Autumn Chase Park for that project. I know I've got a couple calls on that, and that particular one, just they have not returned yet. It's been the work has been suspended for just for the winter. Still wet weather and stuff like that. You know, we had a few good days and stuff, but they are scheduled to come back out here at the end of April. And again, all they have to do is just the asphalting, stoning and the asphalting of the path, and then some cleanup with grass seeding and stuff, and then that one will be complete. And that's it.
Thank you. Police.
The monthly report for March 2022, we had 747 incidents, 39 arrests, 21 accidents, 284 citations, and 693 warnings. A update on Lexipol, we should be finished with our policy within the next 2 weeks, which is moving very fastly. We'll be working on our procedure section right after that. So we're way ahead of schedule. One of our new officers started, as you know, and a replacement for one of our retirees should be starting next week on the 18th. we'll be moving forward with that. So that person will be in uniform and sworn in on Monday, on the 18th.
For the month of March, we had 123 total calls. We had 538 hours of training. We continued our installation of smoke and CO detectors in dire residences. Last 3 weeks, we covered 86 homes and had 175 detectors installed. We will be doing another batch of carbon monoxide detectors here shortly. Installed and inspected multiple car seats. We actually had our first public CPR course on April 7th. And over last month, we worked with the Department of Public Works, Parks Department also, and did CPR and Stop the Bleed certification for their departments and their employees. Our next public CPR course will be May 12th. You can sign up for that on the town website and on our Facebook page. Next few weeks, we'll be working with our SROs again to do more Stop the Bleed training for Lake Central School Corporation staff, working with our Tri-Town Fire Departments as well. We also are in the middle of our policy implementation with Lexipol. We have 20 staff currently in the middle of taking their Blue Card Communication Command training. And myself, Captain Hemrick, and Lieutenant Satori graduated from the Executive Public Safety Leadership Program a few weeks back. And April 29th, we have 3 of our probationary firefighters are graduating from the Fire Academy at the MAC in Valparaiso.
Thank you. Road projects, Neil?
Good evening.
Hello.
For road projects, we have under construction Carnation and Edgewood and Schilling will be next. The 2021-2 resurfacing projects with Reith Riley, those are scheduled to begin within the next week. Avalon and Belden, those design plans are completed and they're out to bid, and we will be ready for award at the meeting in May. And the 2022-1 CCMG design project for Magnolia Madison and 214th, that is proceeding. We just got design plans back today from the Stormwater Board for the inclusion of those projects that are not applicable to CCMG, but need to be coordinated, that we work with Dave and Frank and the staff on that. Any questions? Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to old business, we have the Tri-Town Safety Village donation. We'll be looking for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay Tri-Town Safety Village $15,000, which is what we did last year.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
If I remember, it was the 15,000 was based on just the rest of the year because we had made that motion and request halfway through.
I think that was the year before, and I think
Was
that
it?
was the 11,000. I
11?
believe
Yeah.
believe
We
I
bumped it
remember
up to
making that
15.
motion. Yes, Frank?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, board members. I appreciate it. Dyer Schools are attending next week. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for all your work. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-05, changing composition of the Historic Preservation Board. It's the second reading.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia? Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Well, I'm not fully sold on it. So, but I'll vote aye. We'll see.
Is that an aye or?
It's an aye.
Okay. Bob?
Aye. Seeking a motion for ordinance 2022-08, repealing of ordinance 2005-23.
Do you want to take action on the town council member that'll be appointed to the Historic Preservation Commission.
I didn't know
Since
there'd
it's
be dinosaurs involved.
You never
Might have
know.
got Steve's vote a little quicker.
You know what? Never know what you can find. I'm not saying you have to do it now. I'm just saying that as a matter of opening that to 5 members, it requires a member of the town council.
Yeah, you could do it now or under new business or,
We'll do it.
I'll make a motion to approve Alan Brooks to be the member on the Historic Preservation Committee.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, any discussion?
Was there a discussion about for anybody to be on, or is there a discussion about that?
The way the ordinance is written, it's one of you 5, so.
Right, but there was no discussion between one of the 5.
Well, there's a motion. I mean, if this fails, you can appoint someone else.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia? Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Nay.
Bob?
Aye. Okay, to ordinance 2022-08.
Yes, Mr. President, the referenced ordinance 2005-23 establishes the community events panel, which regulates and it was designed, I should say, to regulate and oversee all town events. It includes the town manager, the police chief, the fire chief, members of the council. From what came to light during the course of meetings discussing the volunteer committees is this panel has never actually been utilized for at least the past 10 years. So since the actual, and it doesn't duplicate what the volunteer committees do, this is more of a policy setting, 10,000 foot view sort of planning panel, I guess. Whereas the volunteer committee deals with on the ground efforts. And since this hasn't been utilized and the Summerfest and has been seemingly put together pretty well, the discussion was there was no need for this. So I am proposing, and I drafted rather an ordinance repealing the events panel.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2022-08, repealing ordinance 2005-23.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. I'd like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules and pass on second reading ordinance 2022-08.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Next is ordinance 2022-09, establishing Dyer and Bloom Volunteer Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2022-09, establishing Dyer and Bloom Volunteer Committee.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and second, any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, this is set up under the ordinance 2022-06. The park board approved this resolution and now it's before this body for final approval. As you can see, what it does is it sets up a 5-member committee responsive to the park board with 4-year terms. They have to provide semi-annual written reports that include various specified items. They have to hold at least one public meeting a year. And then they continue in existence until dissolved. And then by implication, all the public meeting requirements, et cetera, in the enabling ordinance apply.
Any discussion?
So per our ordinance that we passed, it not only option to be dissolved as so desired, but the town council does have the ability to move it from one board or commission to another, isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. I'll entertain a motion to pass ordinance 2022-09 on second reading.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. Next up, we have ordinance 2022-10, establishing Dyer Summerfest Committee.
I'd like to make a motion to table this simply because in the past, and as I see right now on our agenda, that there are items to be approved by the town council. And in the past, the town council has always had the submission from this group, and the town council has always paid for it and approved all of these contracts and items. My concern is, was it discussed and how we're going to move forward? If this committee is going to be under the park, is this going to be their prerogative to approve and take it out of their budget and have control of it? And if not, then are we going to continue with the town council having the oversight to all of these contracts and expenses? And if that's the case, and I believe the proper place for this committee would be under the town council. So I'd ask that it be tabled for now until we can figure it out. I don't know if we can get these, if there's a limit or a time on when the contracts must be approved. It's my only concern here. Town manager or attorney, was these contracts presented to you with any time limit on their approvals?
I would defer to Parks on that one. They're the ones who submitted the contracts. I believe they're urgent at this point
Yes.
with the fest coming in June.
So they're submitted to the parks, but they're not the parks. It's the responsibility of the town council?
Yeah,
Is that how it is? Okay.
Yeah, normally they turn in the like agreements like this to the parks, and then we usually send it to the town council office. Normally with like the payments, I mean, they have their own budget. I think it's like a community special event budget or whatnot that they operate out of. As far as claims and wise, usually they send all the claims to the park department, and then we usually sign off on the claims, which I believe also do come to the council as well and stuff. But yeah, normally they send it to us, and then we'll approval wise right now, it's what we've done. We've always sent it to you guys.
If I could, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
If I could just clarify, the volunteer committee and then the actual funding efforts are two separate issues. What the committee does is it just supervises and organizes efforts of volunteers on the ground. Contracts and funding is a separate question that this council would vote on separately. So I think your concern is attributing more power to the volunteer committee than it actually gives it.
Okay, if that's the case, then I will withdraw my motion and I will address the contracts at the time that we're going to review them. The only thing I'd ask our park director is ensure as soon as you get them, that it's passed on to the council. This is the first time I'm looking at it.
Oh, yeah, no, we had actually emailed them out and asking for them last week even to, and then I don't think they bring it in until this week. I know they have, they do have a different, who's been on, Greg Pickard, who's been on the volunteer organization for a while, but he's the new chair of the group and stuff. But yeah, normally we get them, we send them over right away.
Appreciate it, thank you.
And at the same time, Mike, any contract over $5,000, they have to have you their W-9 form
Right.
and their insurance liability. I'm missing 2 on one group, and the other group, I need their W-9. And that's everything over 5,000 because we have to download that at Gateway for transparency.
I'll be looking for a motion to pass ordinance 2022-10 on first reading.
I'll make that motion that we pass that ordinance on first reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. I'd like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules and pass ordinance 2022-10 on second reading.
I'll make that motion that we suspend the rules and pass ordinance 2022-10 on second reading.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. Next up, we have resolution 2022-11, amending resolution 2005-28.
Yes, Mr. President, this goes hand in hand with the repealer ordinance that was passed earlier this meeting. The Community Events Special Fund is created by resolution, and it's actually generically worded. And I believe this is lifted right out of it: collect, hold, and disperse all funds related to town events. So we can keep that fund even though the events panel has been repealed. All that it does is this amendment does is strike all references to community events panel, which I think on its own should take care of the issue. But if there's any issue, what section 2 does is it states that all authority formerly held by the events panel are delegated to the council or anybody to which it delegates authority.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2022-11, amending resolution 2005-28.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. We're seeking a motion to pass resolution 2022-12, lease purchase agreement with U.S. Bancorp Government Leasing and Financing for the 2022-1 lease.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-12 lease purchase agreement dated as of April 1st, 2022 between U.S. Bancorp, Government Leasing and Finance, Inc. and Town of Dyer, Indiana, leasing and schedule number 6.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Dave, this is for the dump truck with snow equipment?
3 of them.
3 of them?
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. Next up, I'll entertain a motion to pass resolution 2022-13, 2021 budget reductions.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution.
I do apologize. It should be 2022 budget reductions. There's a typo on that agenda. All the supporting data is correct, just the agenda item.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-13, providing for the reduction of appropriations in various budgets of the town of Dyer for the year 2022.
I'll second the motion.
Overall, it was 1.5.
Total reductions were $1,232,024.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. Next, I'll entertain a motion for resolution 2022-14, transfer of funds.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-14 transfer of funds.
Do I have a second? A motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Bob.
Aye. Next, I have resolution 2022-15, authorizing change in banking.
This is the first time a resolution is being done due to the conference we went to. State Board of Accounts is now requesting it from since March carrying forward. We have moved the 3 utility accounts and half of the redevelopment money. We are waiting for the second row of taxes to make sure everything's coming in properly, which will be in June. before I moved. Our old bank, it was at 0.10. We are now getting 0.25. And in this market, the way it is, we have to go for as much as we can with interest rates.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-15 authorizing change in banking.
Motion, do I have a second?
So I'll make the second because I have a couple of questions I want to ask that will determine which way, at least the way I vote.
Okay.
So I do the second on the motion. So is the driving force only the difference in interest?
It's an interest, and we've had fraud problems, which have all been corrected through our office, that we searched out the fraud in 2020.
Did that have anything to do with Centaur Bank?
It was with Centaur and banks out in California, where checks were getting washed. Some were with Nice.
Okay, that's not fraud. They were just getting lost.
No, there was fraud in washing checks. So how it happened.
Okay. And who is our point person for this new American Savings Bank?
It was Debbie, and she retired, and there is a new lady who will be coming and introducing herself.
Do we have a name?
It's up in an email, Steve.
Pardon me?
It's up in an email.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have it off the top of my head because it just came.
Just for information, please pass it on.
Mhm.
Those were the questions I had.
So we have different accounts with two different banks now?
We always have for
Okay.
the last probably 40 years.
Okay.
We have always been with Wintrust, which was First National. Then it was bought out by Wintrust. Then we were with Centaur, privately owned, one's commercial.
When we had this fraud issue, did Centaur respond?
No, I mean, they took the information.
Mhm.
What ended up happening, I contacted each bank that was involved, contacted each town in California police department, their county department, their state department, each state's attorney's department. And since it involved two states, I also contacted the U.S. state's attorney. I had more people on it. When we were with Bremen, I went through them and I complained to get the money back, to pay it back. And the turnaround time, when we got the check from our Bremen, I was returning a check to them within 6 weeks. He's like, how did you do this? And I go, the more people investigating it, the more we're going to get a reaction. So I took all those steps because of my past training and my past jobs. And really, I felt at that time, it should have been our banking service doing that for us. And then I started the interest rates. We all know what's been going on with the pandemic, and we have to get the most money for our buck.
My concern is when it comes to interest rates, we're really not going to get that much more. And I just know how the people of Centaur have given back to this community. You know, they're involved in.
So are you saying we have to bank with somebody for them to give back to us?
No,
Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm just saying that I appreciate that they give back to the community.
I'd like to listen to Alan's concerns. Could you say that again? I didn't hear you.
No, I said I like a lot of businesses in town ignore us. Centaur is one that they're in the parade. They're at Summerfest. They're at National Night Out. I see them all the time. I mean, it's a shame that they didn't respond to these fraud charges, but I just have a hard time changing.
Any further discussion?
If I may, Mr. President, I just want to throw this out there. Yeah, you are the governing body. You owe a fiduciary duty to the taxpayers. The interest rate is a huge factor into that, but it's not the only factor you can consider in determining where to bank. I'll just leave that.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Nay.
Alan?
Nay.
Mary?
Hi.
Steve?
Nay.
Bob?
Nay.
Okay, we'll move them all back. The three that are there.
Were they already moved?
They were moved because I asked for permission last year and the resolution only came up this March through State Board of Accounts. Before that, once I get approval, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, I just move ahead after I do the research and we do everything and document it through county and state.
That's why they're requiring resolutions.
Yeah. So I need probably a resolution. We'll still need a resolution because I'm gonna be moving them back. Center's still open. But I have to get a hold of county to move that money back, the taxes, right?
One other question, if I may. Where is the closest American Savings Bank at?
On Main Street in Dyer.
Main Street on the
Okay,
Dyer side?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Down to new business. Bid award for the mowing contract for the year. Mr. Town Manager, would you care to go into this one?
Yeah, actually, I'll defer to Public Works, the point contact on this particular item.
Okay, we went bid for the right of way and parkway contract. And we got 6 bids back. Suburban Landscaping was the lowest bid at $165,600. Again. And the only thing is in previous years, we used to have like mulching around the town hall, rain garden, contract. We separated that out in favor of trying to get more bids. Last year, we only got 2 bids. It was too specific. So, but we'll have price for that again. That's small.
I'll make a motion that we accept the landscaping bid from Suburban Landscaping in the amount of $165,600.
I'll second that motion.
Motion second, any discussion?
I just want to say they do a good job, even when it's raining out. I see them out there mowing and cutting, taking care of everything. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Next up, we have the bid award for the crosswalk. We discussed this in the study session, so I will either entertain a bid or a motion to accept the off traffic signal project or not, and explore the other options.
So we need a motion. In a second.
I'll make a motion that we accept the blinker beacon crosswalk system.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
So my concern was just if we did not move it forward, it'd be that much more protracted into the future. We can always come back and approve additional sections such as 77th or Calumet to wherever we see. I just want this to move forward.
Yeah,
We've been trying to get it done since last year.
What we can do again, go with Blinker rate, just get the prices for the concrete, that's all on plants. So we get that work done immediately. Prices for the current prices for the Blinker beacon system, and then get that back second. So again, it can be done very easily.
Okay, thank you.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Next under new business, we have the pavement markings. I believe this is Sheffield from Main Street to 30 and 213th from Calumet to Sheffield.
It's actually from Madison Avenue.
Okay.
And then it includes the part of Monticello as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the pavement markings for traffic management at $53,522.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Next up, we have the For Nice Engineering, the construction engineering proposal for Carnation, Edgewood, and Schilling Drive. This is for the engineering services for CCMG 2021-1. Yep.
This is for the current projects that are in construction for the 2021-1 CCMG. We were under budget on the design, and we've been working through that budget during the construction that's proceeding on Carnation. So this project includes the $2.2 million of construction costs, the $674,000 of grant money, and our proposal is in the amount of 5.5% of the construction cost. Any questions? Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we accept the construction engineering services at a cost of $123,200.
I'll second.
Motion in multiple seconds. Any discussion?
Which second are you using, just for the record?
Me.
Clerk, what second are you recording?
I didn't even hear the second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Next up, we have a proclamation for Arbor Day. Councilwoman Camus, could you read that for me?
Yes. Proclamation celebrating Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance economic vitality of the business areas, and they beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, they are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, the town council of the town of Dyer does hereby proclaim that April 29, 2022 is hereby declared to the Arbor Day in Dyer, Indiana, that all citizens are encouraged to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. That all citizens are further encouraged to plant and care for trees, to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of future generations, adopted and proclaimed by the town council of the town of Dyer, Lake County, Indiana, this 12th day of April, 2022. I might add too that our Dyer and Bloom will be giving away 100 seedlings on Arbor Day on that Friday. Thank you.
I believe you said 12, today's the 14th.
14th, sorry.
Do I have a motion to accept this proclamation?
Proclamation.
I'll second that.
A motion is second. One item I would mention is that with all the construction projects that we have in town between the two-stage ditch, all the road construction, Neil, Frank, you can correct me if I'm wrong on my numbers here. We cut down roughly 100 trees, but we will be planting over 400 in their replacement, correct?
That's just for the two-stage Correct. ditch. The two-stage ditch, yeah. The other projects will probably be even higher than that because
Okay.
the road projects.
Okay.
That's for two-stage.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Next, we have item number 7. It's not on the list, but we bumped it out of the consent agenda, and it will be accepting of the Summerfest contracts.
The multiple contracts, or we taking them one at a time?
Whatever the pleasure of the council is. I will just say, I've reviewed the contracts and they vary in terms of quality. What we may want to look at for the future is having a town standard contract that all Summerfest vendors have to sign. That way, there's not some that require arbitration, some that have late fees, some that have require insurance, others that don't. These are all over the board.
Sounds like something perfect for the newly formed Summerfest committee.
So can I make a motion to approve them all and contingent upon two of them, one that needs a W-9 and the other needs,
The Herrick Rentals needs the W-9, Mike, and their liability insurance.
Which one?
Herrick Rentals, and Mad Bomber just needs the W-9. And that would have to be done every year because they update those just like we do every year.
What was that first one? Sorry.
Herrick Rentals, they need both.
Have a motion and a second, I believe. Did you? No?
I'll second.
Now I do. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
aye.
Bob?
Aye. Also, under new business, I'd like to entertain a motion to change the meeting schedule of the Dyer Town Council starting in June of 2022 to the third Wednesday.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye. Any and all?
Yes, I do have one issue. I had brought it up last meeting. We were supposed to talk. It's been over a month. We had not discussed it. I believe, if I remember, I had withdrawn my motion on videotaping all public hearings based on the conversation we had. So could you please check the record because the minutes does not reflect that. But I would like to make that motion again to ensure that all public hearings are videotaped.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And just for the same understanding, this has been brought up by many residents. As I look, we got a screen in front of us right here that show how many people are on, how many people have been looking on and gotten off. There's 33 of them that have been on there. There's 8 presently right now. Residents have called me. Some are disabled, cannot physically come to the meeting. We were videotaping all of them during the COVID. That brought up another issue with either people with compromised immune systems, worried about the COVID or any other reason. They cannot physically or be able to come here for the hearing, so they'd like to be able to participate through the video, which they can submit questions to it too. Others were people who had to work. Some people work evenings. I know if you work in our industry, you get mandated overtime in the mill. Might not be able to show up, so they'd like to be able to watch the videotape. You can watch it either at your leisure at home or when it's actually happening. There are moms that have called me and said they have children at home and babies, they just cannot make it to the meeting. So I think this effectively would provide the transparency and the public and residential inclusions that I think everyone would like in the town of Dyer. I know last time there was some concerns about being misquoted at a meeting, but that's every meeting. They could misquote you here at this meeting. This one is videotaped now. Every time you step up to the podium, your video recorded. But I think it's the right thing to do, and just about every other community has moved forward. It works very well. So I would ask that we have this inclusionary motion passed to provide that access to everybody, no matter where they're at. And if you got one of these smartphones, you can watch it wherever you're at too. So that's my discussion.
Procedurally, if this is going to apply to any board or commission other than the council, this would need to be passed as an ordinance.
Okay. So if we pass it, then we direct you for an ordinance, because I know there's some items per state law that need to be discussed in private. We have that opportunity, and it's called executive sessions. We utilize that quite a bit. We check off the proper box. It's recorded. We have everyone here, including clerk treasurer, to take notes. So if there is something that privately needs to be done, the council has that avenue. So could we pass a general motion to create that ordinance for the other board, but the council can do it right here. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, just tell me what the wording is, get the wording on the record. So if it gets passed today, I can draw it up and circulate it for signature.
Well, I first would like to, I would make or amend my motion to be for the town council and ask that this be passed and we'd have some further discussion with the inclusion of the boards and commissions, make sure everyone understands and how we can do it logistically. I know we have a border commission that does not meet right here. One is the police commission. We'd have to figure out how to handle that or which way it would go. So I would only do this motion for the town council. And as we explore and move forward with the other boards and commissions, maybe at a future date, we'll consider that.
Okay, then this can just be passed as a motion then.
Okay, thank you.
So this would apply to all our boards and commissions?
No,
Just the council, from what I've understood.
that's correct. That was my motion.
Did we have a second? So since we already record this one live, this would just be the inclusion of the study session?
Or any other special session that we would have. And I think any public meeting has to be sunshined anyway, meeting, provide the proper notice to the public.
Any discussion?
So everything is live streamed now except for the study session. And the thought was if we live stream the study session, council members won't think and throw out ideas or solutions that they have.
That does not make sense to me. I mean, I'm trying to listen and understand. Everything that we talk about publicly should be available to the public. If there's something you want to say and you're afraid to say it, I would try to figure out the best way for yourself to say it, but everything we discuss here is the same way. We have open options and we often debate and discuss subjects. Same thing with the studies. I'm just looking to include all the residents that have been asking that cannot be included for whatever reason. It seems
Well, I agree, but you'll go home tonight and go on social media and say, Councilman Brooks wants to keep all the meetings secret.
Well, it may, unfortunately, I don't follow or listen to what you ask me to do, especially in social media. But there may be others. So, this is just in my view, it wasn't to try to embarrass anyone or encourage anyone to go on social media. It was a proper motion to include all of our residents that vote for us, that elected us to do it, and provide them an avenue to at least listen or participate in all of our meetings. I mean, I look and I see a good crowd out here, but not everyone has the opportunity to come to every meeting. It would be nice to hear the discussions that happen at our public hearings, because a public hearing is a public hearing, whether you say it here or on the video, it's all the same. I just want to include the public, Alan. There's nothing in whichever way you vote.
We could include them.
Facebook and say Alan Brooks didn't do it, right?
Well, look, if there's people that can't make it here, and I understand there's people that can't make it here, I'm assuming that if they called the town council offices, they could get a full transcript of the meetings.
Sometimes they're not done on a timely basis. You
Well,
realize
they
that the
could still get them.
takes care. Listen, I'm sorry it doesn't fit in what you believe should happen. I really believe in this, that we should be open and transparent. That's what we've been talking about since the beginning. I don't have no secrets in a public meeting. I hope nobody in the council does. We should be able to talk like we talked to everybody in the audience here tonight. We should be able to talk the same way to anybody watching on this video. There's no difference. I've got nothing to hide. So I'm calling for the vote.
I will say one thing is that just for everyone, whoever votes any one way or the other, one of the driving forces as to why the town council voting meetings that you're listening to now are streamed and not the study session. State law requires meeting minutes to be kept for these type meetings, not for the study session type meetings. So that was the determination that state law does not require it for the study sessions. So that's why there was no recording of that. So I will accept your calling of the vote. Roll call, please.
Alicia?
Aye.
Alan?
Nay.
Mary?
Nay.
Steve?
Give me a minute, I gotta write this down. Yes.
Bob?
Nay. All right. Any further, any and all?
One more question I have. Last meeting, I made a motion with second and was passed by 3 of us. It was voted down by Mary and yourself, Bob, on the garbage credit rebate. If you remember, we had a snowstorm in February. I asked to have that credit provided for services not rendered. It was motion and passed. Where is that credit at right now for all the residents that did not get covered?
Waiting for some additional information and quote from Tyler Technologies regarding the effort they have to make to allow that adjustment to happen in their system.
Do we have an estimated timeline?
I'm hoping within a week's time.
Okay, if you could please provide me that as soon as possible, that information. I know some of the residents have asked about it.
Yes.
I promised I would get some sort of timeline on it for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. That's all we needed on that.
Steve, when you made that motion and it was to the west side of Pavement, I know on the east side in what is that, Parkview Terrace, theirs gets picked up at the same time. I don't know if your area does or is it a different day?
Wasn't talking about my area. Talking about
No, but I'm just.
Thursday.
Right, but ours gets, yeah, but somebody only said it happens to the east side of Calumet. I don't know who that was at this time, but.
We had the garbage contract, we had that discussion. It's delineated.
Because you're on the.
My own garbage will pick up, I'm fine. We're talking about half the county did not get service and expected that credit. We voted on last month, and we're still waiting on it. So I will get a timeline. Thank you, Frank. I will pass that information on. That's all I got.
You look at the amount of time, effort, and money that have been spent on giving people $5 back. I think we need to consider that.
And we also found out that, of course, Republic is not going to credit us or reimburse us. So basically, we're taking from taxpayer money to give these people $5. So I'd like to make a motion to rescind that motion of crediting the $4.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I would say that I did not vote for this motion in the first place last month for 2 reasons. The first one is it was a weather-related incident. I believe that sometimes we have to recognize that while it's an inconvenience, sometimes snow happens. We also, that money is a pass-through. We collect that from the residents and then we just, it's a convenient pass-through for the residents to pay for the garbage. We pay for that way. Without a credit from Republic, this is money that is coming out of, I'm going to assume, the general fund that, you know, it was no fault of Dyer's, and in some aspects, it was no fault of Republic's in that their dumps were closed. The snowstorm lasted 2 days, and because federal law does not require or does not allow for their drivers to drive back to back like that, they were unable to drive anyway. So I think it was unfortunate. It was an inconvenience, but I don't know that the town of Dyer is at fault. And I also worry about the the precedents that we're setting for any future disruptions for things that are not our fault that taxpayers in general have to pay for. This is going to come out of the general fund. So for people who are getting, in theory, some money back, the people who aren't getting money back is paying for that. So I have an issue with that too. So I accept any further discussion.
I would just like,
I have a
go
little
ahead.
more to add to that. I mean, if we're gonna be correct, let's put it on the record that it's not the taxpayers, it's the payers of the garbage fee. They pay a fee for a service. If you're worried about Republic, and I'm not worried about them, we can bring it up next contract. And we can establish and have a way and a vehicle to recoup it. The other part is residents pay a little extra for their garbage service. It's not exactly what they're charged. The town is always charged a little bit more. So it could come out, it was going to come out of there. We had this whole debate last week. Everyone, well, majority was on board. It was all good. I don't know what the change is. It's your prerogative. But I believe that it's the wrong decision to make, especially after we already made it.
I'd like to call the question.
I'm sorry, you're not allowed to interrupt my council members discussing the issue. You can call for a vote on the rule after the discussion is done. You could use 2/3 of it to end the discussion, but I don't believe that. So listen, respectfully, I think that it's the wrong motion. It's already out there, and if I would have never brought it up, it would have still been working on it. So it just seems that it might have only been the reason that I brought it up, but that's only my personal opinion. So I will call for the vote too.
Roll call, please.
Alicia,
It would be yay if you want to rescind, nay if you want to keep.
Nay.
Alan,
aye.
Mary,
Hi.
Steve,
Nay.
Bob,
Aye. Motion passes. Anything else under any and all?
Mr. President, while we still have the meeting open, I do want to ask, we did set the meeting for June 3rd Wednesday for the council. Do you want to set a time now so we can move forward with this? Same time, same everything?
Yes.
Okay, we'll continue the same time then.
I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second.
Voice vote?
Aye.
I'd like to take a 5-minute break before we begin RDC.
They're gonna start.
Excuse me, meeting is starting. If you guys could please take it out on the foyer.
Redevelopment meeting starting. First on our agenda, we have citizen input for the Dyer redevelopment meeting. May we have the roll call, please, for the Dyer redevelopment meeting? I know.
Steve?
Here.
Alicia? Here. Bob?
Here.
Alan?
Here.
Mary?
Here, we have citizen input. Do we have any citizen input for the Dyer redevelopment meeting? Hearing none. There is a consent agenda before you, including the minutes of the March 10th, 2022 Redevelopment Commission meeting, claims totaling $269,555.83. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
As presented on the agenda.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve?
Aye.
Alicia? Bob?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye. General orders, we don't have any in the new business. The TIF report you have before you, the TIF report, you received it. We have to submit this. Town manager, can you explain the TIF report that we have?
Yes, since it was entered in at the council level, also the RDC, so sometimes they're different boards, has to be submitted in Gateway by tomorrow. This is a document that was provided to us and prepared by Baker Tilly with the assistance of the clerk treasurer's office, myself, and also Frank. It's detailed, explains the properties that are in each TIF, expenditures, board members, more of a fact providing document that needs to be submitted in the Gateway that's open to the public.
Okay, we need to approve it though, is that correct?
No approval, just like at the council level.
Okay.
Just have to be read into the, how'd you say that?
Except as a matter of record.
Except as a matter of record.
Okay, we will accept it as a matter of record. Moving on to the TIF areas, please understand that the TIF areas are really important and we want to take a look at some new areas that may come under TIF protocols and making sure that we're not interfering with the ones that are already there for the transit-oriented development or the TDD on the north end of town. So we're going to go through an explanation of that and see how we can affect, because that TIF money falls off after a while. I mean, they're just TIF for so long, we're going to lose one, but we want to pick up some other ones so that we maintain that the amount of money that we have in RDC. So Frank, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, other than the fact that, you know, in terms of the TIF area analysis, we're putting stuff together on that right now,
Right.
Along with Baker Tilly, clerk treasurer's office, and of course the town manager. We're rebuilding the map for the areas that we have, making sure all that information is valid. We found some inconsistencies, not necessarily material, but we're correcting and adjusting that.
Good.
And then, of course, looking at items such as the residential TIF, looking at the TDD that you just mentioned and how it interacts with our existing TIF that's in that area as well. And other areas that we may want to consider, again, aside the residential TIF, other commercial areas that we will now input. So we're kind of gathering all that together for presentation. Again, I would participate at our next session. So that's what we're currently working on, but we have to get some answers to some of these questions because of some of the complexities, like the TDD overlapping with our district. So that's where we're at with it.
And I do,
And that's why, Mary, too, also with the interest rates, with the TIF money, it's
Right.
important to get as much as we can because we are going to have a big drop in 26, I believe.
Yeah, actually, we're going to start seeing that our debt payments on our original TIF district, the Sheffield Calumet Avenue, will go in half from approximately 3 million, a little over 3 million to 1.7 next year, and then I'll fall down to 300,000, and that's on collecting increments around 4.8 million. And that money can then be used as the Series A and Series Bs roll off. Again, we're only making payments, debt service payments out for half of next year, and then it'll fall completely. Then in the 26, we'll start 26, 27, 29, and 30. We'll start to have some of these roll off. So what we're putting together is also a cash flow, so you can see what those increments look like with all of these different again, debt service rolling off, but then TIF areas
Yes.
rolling off in a number of years. To see how all these interact, we got stuff rolling off from 2026 to 2044 if we're looking at the Cedarhurst area. So,
and I know you worked in collaboration with Becca McQuaig. And I know she called me right after that. And I was really happy because she works for AIM and she's our consultant for Redevelopment Association of Indiana. So I think we're on the right path. In fact, she congratulated Dyer. She said, you guys are really, you know what you're doing. So that was very good to hear.
And we're all trying just to collaborate, the three of us together, so you guys can purchase the
Yes.
rest of those houses on Hart and whatever else you seem to want to purchase on 213th or wherever else avenues and projects you want to work on.
Yep. Any discussion?
I would just add, I'm part of this project too.
Yes.
Are there procedural requirements if the TIFs need to be amended? And then
Mhm.
I've also been asked to look into the TDD TIF over.
Yes,
and find
yes.
potential solutions if we need to that.
Okay.
and residential TIF as well, Adam's working on in regards to with the DLGF, what's permitted for those particular areas. So, and Baker Tilly running analysis on
Right.
what that'll look like for us and potential increments that we can collect going forward.
I just want to say thank you for putting together the TIF information, all the calculations. I may come in for a little further in-depth details on it. And looking forward to what we need to do to increase or decrease or modify and change the TIF areas.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any and all? Have a motion for adjournment?
One last second, I
Sorry.
apologize.
What? Yes.
Do you need to make separate action to change your RDC meeting to the same night for June at this meeting?
Well, I mean.
You don't have to.
I thought
mean,
it was the same. I thought it was on there.
That motion was just for the council at the council level. So this one, if you'd like to mirror the council meeting, you probably should have that action taken tonight here at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the president calls the meeting, but I think it'd be nice to do it as a motion.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll make that second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Mary.
Aye. Any other business? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. Voice vote, please.
Aye.
Thank you.